Hello. So today I have for you a movie wrap up. The lighting might be a little bit off, but I just wanted to do it in front of my TV because it just seemed like the right place to do it since we're talking about movies. So I watched 6 movies since the last wrap up. Actually, all in November. So I will probably be watching more movies before the end of November, but really once I've got 5 or 6, that's when I try to do one of these. Just because I don't know. It really, some movies I watch one movie, some months I watch one movie, some months I watch 12. So every 5 or 6 I like to kind of do this. First up, the first movie I watched was on Crunchyroll, and that is Yes, No, or Maybe, which came out in 2020. I'll put a picture here. This is a BL manga. It is based on a series of light novels, which I'm interested in picking up. Basically, it's about this reporter who's got a very like golden boy, clean image, but inside, like in his secret heart, he is just full of rage and hate for everybody around him, and he's so mad all the time, and it's wonderful. And then he ends up interviewing this artist, and they sort of, he ends up later, because when he's off work, he like puts on glasses and he like covers his face so that nobody sees him, so he can be as mean as he wants. And he runs into this artist after he interviews him, and they kind of end up starting to spend time together, and they kind of start to fall in love with each other, and it's very interesting. I enjoyed it a lot. A lot of people. So at the very end, the last 5 minutes of the film, it's like 50 minutes total. At the last 5 minutes of the film, they after they figured out who each other is, stuff like that, there is a scene that is. It's a sex scene that's very much not consensual, and it's like for a lot of people that did really ruin the movie for them, because it is really kind of sudden, like after all of these, I can't take that light. We're up against the TV and the lighting is so much better. I just wanted that background. Now you get my music and the book wall in the background, and some laundry. But anyway, I thought as a movie I thought it was good. I thought it was cute. I'm very interested in reading the light novels, and people have said that the light novels don't have that scene in it. So it's like something that the movies just like put in there. But yeah, I watched that. Then on my wonderful CRT TV, I watched The Ring 2. I haven't seen The Ring 1. I have just managed to make myself start reading book series in order. I have not managed to do that for movies franchises yet. So I haven't seen The Ring. I know what it's about, but this follows after the events of The Ring, this woman and her son end up moving far away, but then it's like Tamara's still out there. She is still, killing people coming out of their TVs. And I'm going to say, my TV, best kind of TV to watch this movie in. I'm going to say it. This is obviously a DVD, but I do have a VCR up there too. So if it was on VHS, I could be watching it then too. But yeah, no, it was interesting. However, here's the thing. I was kind of rooting for Samara here because it's like, she is like a much more loving child than this woman's real child. In fact, the whole reason, and there might be spoilers, there are always spoilers in these, but the only reason why this woman realized that it wasn't her child anymore is because Samara was being like loving and calling her mom and stuff like that. And she was like, wait, my kid would never call me mom. He calls me by my first name. I'm like, what the fuck? It was okay. It was okay. It's not like my favorite franchise. I do own the first movie. And I do intend to watch it at some point, but I'm just like, it's kind of stupid. Then I rewatched one of my favorite movies of all time. That's Lord of the Flies. This is the 1963 version. By the way, this came out in 2005. 1963 version. Honestly, best experience watching Lord of the Flies ever. Previously, I don't think I've ever watched on DVD before because it's like available in its entirety on YouTube. And so that is the only way I've ever watched it before. That's the only way I ever showed it to like kids when we were reading Lord of the Flies in 9th grade. When I was a high school teacher. And I love this movie. Watching this did make me, more inspired to work more on Guillaume, which is my Lord of the Flies inspired horror novel that will be coming out next year. I'm very excited about it. You should be excited too. If it's out by the time this video goes up, I'll put up a picture. Honestly, I'm thinking one of the best things I've ever written. I'm like 30,000 words in on the second draft. It's like perfect. Anyway, Lord of the Flies. Beautiful. I know some people prefer the 90s version, but the 90s version just takes the source material and just chews it up and spits it into the ground and digs its heel in. It's just like, No, this is extremely faithful to the book. It's wonderful. It's so good. I love this movie so much. Another movie that just looked so perfect on my CRT TV. After that, I watched The Last House on the Left, the original 1972 version. This movie was so good. So I've seen the remake from the early 2000s, and that was like very typical of early 2000s horror remakes. They made it real gross, real gory, real exploitation-y. This is like originally a very exploitation-y film. Like it's an exploitation flick. It's Wes Craven, and it's, if you don't know the story, The Last House on the Left, it is about. Sorry, I get the sticker off there from Rock 30. Perfect. It's about these two girls who they end up going, they're trying to go to this concert, but they end up falling in and getting kidnapped by a bunch of like criminals that are like on the run, and then the criminals torture and murder them. And unfortunately for the criminals, where they ended up torturing and murdering these girls was literally like a block away. Not even a block, it's like in the backyard of her parents' house. And this house is like the only house for miles. And so then her parents, take revenge. It's so good. It's such a good movie. It's so well put together. It's artistic. It's wonderful. There's this cop subplot, and every time they're on screen, it's like a buddy comedy. Also, Priest from The Karate Kid is one of the cops, and I spent so long just like, oh, like I've seen this guy before. I could picture him in The Karate Kid, like in my head. I'm like, who is this? And I had to look it up on IMDb, and I saw The Karate Kid. I was like, oh yeah. So the evil guy from The Karate Kid is a cop in here. But no, it's so good. The criminals, the way that they're portrayed, their acting, it's so, this movie is so good. It's definitely hard to watch, and the girls in this one, they're so likable. Like, and you get to know them before they get, like captured and stuff like that. And it's just like, I was watching as getting to know, it's like, it's gonna be really fucking hard to watch these girls die. Because obviously, I knew what was coming. But no, very, very, very good film. Oh my god, so much better than the remake. So much better than the remake. So much better than the remake. Then I watched 200 Pounds Beauty from 2006. This is a Korean movie about this young woman who has a beautiful singing voice, but unfortunately she's about 300 pounds and deeply ugly because she's wearing the worst fat suit I've ever seen. And she ends up getting massive amounts of plastic. So she tries to kill herself. It doesn't work. So she ends up trying to go get massive amounts of plastic surgery, and then she becomes beautiful and she becomes a star. And it's just, it was, the beginning is real rough. Like, it's like, at the beginning, I was like, this is a 1 star for sure. As it went on, it started getting a little bit better. But I'm just like, I don't know if this is the one I would recommend. I watched it on Amazon Prime. It's been on my watch list for years. Like, I just like, whatever. I just added it to my watch list. I finally watched it. It is what it is. And it is like a critique on like the plastic surgery industry in South Korea, which I'm not, super up to date on. But yeah, I watched it. It was something I watched. And then I watched Hellraiser Bloodline, which came out in 1996. I have this one on DVD actually, but it's in like a compilation. Hello, ma'am. Are you here to join me? What's up? She was sitting in the window. And she just jumped down. She's so mad at me. She's like, put me down, you stupid idiot. But Hellraiser Bloodline. So I've only watched the first Hellraiser, and Bloodline is like number 4, I want to say. It's the last theatrical release until the one that like just came out. Did one just come out, or were they just saying it was going to come out? I don't remember seeing like any fucking trailers or anything for it. I do remember people no, that was Candyman. I don't remember. There was some kind of Clive Barker thing that people were complaining about it being like super gay and it's woke now. And I'm like, Clive Barker is the gayest man that's ever existed. But I really liked it. I thought it was so fun. So it's about like, it starts off and you're in space because this is a horror franchise and it's the 4th movie and it came out in the 90s. So we got to take him to space at one point. Cause it's 2152 or something like that. And we're following this guy and he's like trying to solve the puzzle box so he can, defeat the Cenobites once and for all. And then we kind of learn about his whole family history because he tells it a bit way back, like this French toy maker was like built the first box, and we learn a lot of like lore and stuff like that. And I spent as like a French history nerd specifically, around the revolution. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out when exactly this man was making this box, and I eventually figured it had to be sometime around like the Sun King's reign, I want to say, because it's like he visits this super fancy noble guy, and I'm like, it's like where are we exactly? It's a whole thing. But my thought is like Sun King. But anyway, you're knocking over Leatherface cat. And then we go to like the 90s, and then we go back. It's super fun. Super bloody, super sexy. I love the Hellraiser movies. I've only seen 2 of them. I've seen the first one and I've seen this one, and I'm like, it's wonderful. I've got the pack that it was in, the DVD pack has it's a compilation of like 6 of them, and they're all the bad ones, right? Like it's like 3 through like the 4 that 3 and then 4, which is 4, and then 4 that were like direct to video. So like, you know, those ones are gonna be absolutely terrible. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to watch more of those. I'm on a long weekend right now. It is Thanksgiving weekend. It's Friday. So I'm hoping that I can get a couple more movies watched this weekend. Hopefully, you know, one tonight, one tomorrow night. That's my thought. And that's all we got for you today. That is everything. I'll talk to you later, and goodbye. And Jelly Jam also says goodbye, and she's still mad at picking her up again. She doesn't like to be picked up. She can get cuddly, but she does not like to be picked up. But she's kind of learning to cope. You can tell because like when I was just petting her, she was purring like crazy. I pick her up, she's like, oh my god, like she just stops. But yeah, that is all.